The Emperor has foreseen a new threat rising against him. The Podwans Podcast.
Star Wars? What's a Star War?
Oh, man.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to the Podwans Podcast. Luke, how are you doing? We're not here to talk about Star Wars, are we?
Hell no. We're here to go back to Middle Earth.
Middle Earth.
To be exact, we will be in the Second Age.
Does the existence of Middle Earth imply that there is both a top and a bottom Earth?
That's a good question for the folks that we have today. They're going to know a lot more than me. I'm not going to lie.
All right, well, let me find out what Pete Belmont, Lord of the Rings, has to say.
I don't have much to say about that. You know, there's no top and lower. Like, there's just like, you know, there's Midgard, there's Middle Earth. It's us. We're living in it.
Pete, how you been? It's been a while since you've been on.
Yeah, since I guess the end of the season 2, which was fantastic. We had so much fun watching all those all the episodes together, I gotta say. But yeah, that was probably the last time. And since then, I've done a lot of stuff going on. Got engaged, went to Japan. You know,
Whoa,
There you go. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah,
Man, that's awesome. What'd you
chilling.
do in Japan?
Oh, I was there for like 21 days, actually. And
Holy.
I mean, I did a lot of stuff. If you want to talk about it another time, I'm sure. But I did find Japanese versions of Lord of the Rings. Fantastic artwork. I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it like the books, or is it like mangas, or?
It's the books, but they have
Okay.
a different artist, and
Okay.
the artist like does the Hobbit. I got the Hobbit, Fellowship of the Ring, and the Silmarillion, and the Silmarillion uses Roger Garland's artwork. It's like really weird. It's cool, but the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings had like custom artwork made for it, so it's very cool because they do some
Ooh.
scenes you don't see in like the other artwork or like from Tolkien's original artwork or other books. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for the little tidbit there, Belmont. Always coming in with something. I love it.
Anyways, yeah, season 3.
Season 3, we're going to talk about it, but we can't talk about it without Kaya K. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are y'all?
I'm enjoying life. I'm excited about the news that we're getting the next installment in the Rings of Power.
It's gonna be great.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be.
I hope it
There's not gonna be any toxicity at all.
None at all. No hate.
None.
At all.
Which honestly, this last season didn't have a ton.
I was just about to say, it feels like
At least it didn't feel like to me. I don't know.
It was there. It was 100%
It
there.
was-
Like, I saw it. I had people, when I would talk about it, be like, "Oh, Rings of Power, Rings of Woke."
You're damn right.
But comparatively to season 1, it had definitely mellowed out a lot. So hopefully, if the trajectory maintains course, less toxicity even than season 2. Hopefully.
In the end, you know, I hate to break it to everyone, but this is Amazon's most successful show. And you're just going to have to accept that because the numbers don't lie. They made a profit off of it. They're going to keep making it. So
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah, like I can see why it's the most popular show. I think it's even as someone who's like not super well versed in Tolkien lore, like it's very entertaining. Like it's fun.
I feel
Yeah.
like it as a whole show, it's pretty digestible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you all agree? I feel like even if you didn't read or watch Lord of the Rings, I feel like this is it could be a good starting off point.
I
You
I
didn't
agree
know
with that.
anything.
I agree with that. I don't know. Okay, what do
Mike-
you think?
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that Rings of Power is a good show for people who don't know the lore, but who might be interested in getting into it. So
Very true.
My girlfriend
I,
has only go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say my girlfriend's only seen the Fellowship of the Ring. And that was a while ago, and she's watched. We like binge watched season 1 and season 1 before season 2 came out, and she loved both seasons. So, like, I think it's super digestible. She wasn't lost. You know, like It's a well done show, especially for people who are, like you said, are just looking to get into the Tolkien lore.
I think like Luke, you like have love the movies and you've gotten into the books and what have you. But like Chase, you know, it was fun talking to you like for season 2. And I'm curious, like when you watched season 1, did you like notice any of like the language differences of like you wouldn't, or did you like the names bother you and the location names? Was that like a bothersome thing for you?
No, I mean, coming from Star Wars, where like shit just gets made up.
You're like making that shit.
we just take Jon Stewart's last name and put his first name at the end, Stu John. We're kind of used to that.
Like I grew up
Dude,
reading
John.
books about a dude named Corin Horn. Like it's
Not far off from Gil-galad, you know, Glorfindel, you know, hey.
the big
Yeah.
bad in like the stuff I was reading was, you know, Darth Bane. Like it's like there's not great names.
You
in
know
Star
what? You're
Wars.
right. You're right about that, actually. But
So when you get Elfinoduflanor, like sure, whatever. Like,
What?
throw me some more vowels and add
dude,
an
I
R
can't
at
wait.
the end.
I can't wait until we get the Hobbit names because you guys are gonna have so much fun with those. It's like Mungo and Bungo and Fresco and Paco and like you're like, what the hell? Like Drogo. You're like, who are these people?
Wait,
I'm sorry,
isn't
it's
he supposed to be
Pasco
Game
is
of
his
Thrones?
No, like the names, locations, like I think it's maybe the one thing is it's like, okay, is it a person or a place that they're referring to? Kind of,
It's a fun
kind
game.
of, yeah. It's like, ooh. Gil-galad could equally be a place or a name. Like I don't think it would be far off from saying, oh, I grew up in Gil-galad.
from Arondir.
Oh man, no. Obviously, if you guys are here, you know kind of what's going on. Amazon has officially. I don't know why it took them so damn long to confirm the 3rd season. Because obviously, like Pete had alluded to, it's easily one of its best shows that the streaming platform has ever put out. So they are renewing Rings of Power for a 3rd season, which shocker to all of us apparently. And we are getting we're getting 2 directors from the last 2 seasons, and then we get a newbie who's done The Boys and The Walking Dead. My question is, with that kind of genre, do we think this is a good choice for what the story beats are going to be for season 3? Because we're gonna get more Sauron evil stuff, so maybe that will help out. What? How are we feeling about what we could possibly see this season?
It's an interesting choice. Like I feel like, do you know what? Let's just jump back to season 2 and talk about all the random gore. Right? There was just the most random gore, and you're just like, what is happening right now? And I was like, I'm thinking here, you know, they get someone who's been involved with something like The Walking Dead. You know, a lot of prosthetics, a lot of like effects used. Actually, really awesome. I remember watching it like when it came out in college. I was like, oh, this is kind of like, it's dope. Okay, cool. So I'm kind of interested in what that means. Like, so like, does it give me a little gory? I don't know, but it's a very interesting choice. I love the directors from last season, so no complaints about that.
Yeah. I'm kind of scared about the gore. I'm not a gore person, so like all the random jump scare gores.
Ooh, yeah.
Like
I
that
felt like there was a lot of that last season too. I
I
mean,
feel like the
yeah.
whole show
Like
has
when-
been relatively violent compared.
like when
to
Arondir like jumped in with Isildur, like fighting the Southlanders, and you just see that arrow go through that guy's jaw. It's just, bleh. No thank
yeah.
you.
Or when Isildur's in with Shelob. That's tough for a lot of people.
I'm not cool with spiders. I mean, I'm not like super frightened of them, but I'm just like the spider stuff. Like spider horror scares me. It's not like spiders scare me. Spider horror scares me. I don't know why.
See,
Weird,
I
like
love the Shelob stuff, but the sounds,
it's that's what it is.
it's like the mouth sounds. It's like, turn it. Why?
No.
Why do you got to make the egg sounds?
Please
it's-
stop.
It's so crazy.
You know what
It's
scene I
so
think of?
crazy.
You ever seen The Mist? Stephen King's The Mist. the movie they
Yes,
made?
I
Like the
love
spiders
that
popping
movie.
out of that guy is just like
That movie is incredible. The ending to that movie is something else.
The story is incredible too. I love Stephen King. He's a big fan of that. But now season 3, it's like, what are you really setting up here? You're gonna have a couple things. It's gonna be the war of the elves versus Sauron, and I don't know. I don't how you guys feel about like us talking about what goes on in the books, but I don't want to like spoil
Go
anything.
for it.
For you.
Go for it.
All right.
I know
Cool,
Numenor
tight.
gets fucked at some point.
Background, that's what that is. Check it out. That's what my background is. Look at that. Look at that shit. It's fucked.
Oh my
That's a
God.
Lendil. That's a Lendil and Yeti on the Isildur. They're riding away. Deuces.
And then way up on that mountain, that's Media. Kind of.
She can't see anything. Don't worry.
That's terrible. That's
Oh,
so
that's
terrible. But no,
Sorry, okay.
I think we're good. I think we're good to talk book spoil. I mean, the
Yeah.
book's been out for what, 60 years?
Give or take, you know.
I'm sorry. You know, if you
Okay,
live under a
well,
rock.
So the way it goes down is the One Ring's made in like 1600 of the Second Age. Second Age is like what, 3,400 years long, 3,440 or something
Mhm.
like that, or 3,441. So at this point, like we're actually, I can't remember, like we're between the period of like 800 to 1600, and that's like what happens in the books, the War of the Elves, and then like Numenor shows up and saves the day, and like the Battle of the Gwythlo happens, and it's Minister, this 11th king we were talking about actually on a live today, and his son Kiritan, and they like show up, and it's like, you know, they defeat Sauron. Sauron pretty much goes into hiding, but you know what they've done now in the story is like they can't really do that. It's going to be Pharazôn, in my opinion, which is going to be cool. Like they're going to have an armament build in Numenor, and they're going to show up and they're like do battle. It's going to be sick. But I think they're like kind of doing something where like it happened over time, but like they're going to have the colonization aspect happen with Numenor too. So you're going to see like Pelargir and probably a battle for Pelargir, I feel like, because like that's in the book, that's like the Port of the Faithful. In a place like Umbar, or the Corsairs of Umbar, like which you know that it later becomes, are like the Black Numenorians, and they go farther south to like Horondor and down to that area and Harad and what have you. So it's like, you know, I'm curious how they're going to approach that. I hope they jump into it. But the most interesting thing that was dropped about this, pertaining to all this, is the time skip. And I'm wondering how long they're going to say it is. Probably like 20 years. If they do 20 years or like 15 years, that'll be 6. 2 things. Numenorians aging and Theo's older. And we get to learn what's going down with that finally. So,
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to get a recast Theo if there's a time jump like that?
that's what I've been thinking too.
Maybe. Or they just put, like, you know, cut his hair, put makeup on him.
Or
Because it's
Theo
been,
stays young because
like,
he's
what,
Numenorian.
like a year and a half, 2 years since they filmed the last season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, that is the most interesting thing, because it's like from the events that we have now, like for obviously for book readers and that enjoy both, it's like, all right, so how are we going to do this? Like when it was first announced, like, how are they going to do this? There's so much time. And now I think it's interesting that people are kind of worried about the time jump, because it's like,
I don't worry about it.
it's like you have so much time with these characters already. I think the only downside to doing massive time jumps are your human characters. But
Which is solved because Numenorians, you know?
Yeah, because I was gonna say like time skips in something like Lord of the Rings is different than like the time skip in the Expanse, where it's like 25 years jumping from like the events of book 6 of the Expanse to book 7 is like, yeah, these people weren't young to begin with, and now they're going to be significantly older. Whereas like, isn't like Aragorn like 112 or something like that?
87, right?
he's 87, yeah.
But looks like Viggo Mortensen. Like we can all dream. But like it feels like time scaling in Middle Earth doesn't quite work the way that we're used to, at least for the inhabitants, if that makes sense. Like, sure, I think we'll see some humans that have aged a little bit, but like not that much. Like, make Pharazôn more gray. Like,
Well, I mean, like Farazan, Muriel, and Elendil are all around the same age. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if either of them age, it'll probably be just as much as Farazan.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
which I don't think they're going to do.
Isildur.
Yeah.
Because like dwarves like live a decently long time,
Yeah.
right?
They live like real. Some of the older dwarves live to like. They say didn't Doran live to be like 600-700 years old or something crazy?
I think it was something like that.
Like
But like I know that
wow.
I know that they said that. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like Fellowship of Fans said that they were looking to cast Duden's kids, like his older
Ooh.
kids, as teenagers.
Which would make sense. Which would
Yeah,
make
it would
sense.
make sense, but now it makes me curious to see if how they're going to age Duden and Disa. So
That's a good point. Yeah, I wonder if they'll put a
Yeah.
little gray in their hair.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like those two actors, I mean, they're already in a ton of prosthetics to begin with. I feel like the aging could be a little easier for them. They
Mhm.
just add on wrinkles and stuff onto their prosthetic. Maybe
I don't think they even
I
need
don't
to
know.
do that. I don't even think they need to do that. I think it'll be fun. They'll just be normal
Yeah.
age, and the kids will get older. That's not a big point. Stuff like
I
that
think-
doesn't bother
I
me.
think the more interesting thing would be like the current state of events, like what not what did Numenorians look like? What does Numenor look like in 20 years? You know, like how has the reign of Farazan been going over the course of 20 years? Like that will probably have a more drastic effect than like someone's wrinkles. Like how far is Mordor along at this point? Like that's what I think would be interesting to see more than just the characters.
yeah,
Mhm.
I actually don't think they're even going to show Numenor all that much, because in my head, if they're saying that it's going to be in the midst of like the battle between Sauron and the elves, then I think it's just going to be centered on Mordor, Khazad-dûm, and like Rivendell, and maybe we'll get like 2 or 3 scenes in Numenor with Gandalf, or not with Gandalf, but also an episode or 2 with Gandalf, and then hopefully, in my wishful thinking, season 4 will be dedicated to Numenor and the fall of that.
Yo, what if we see Lothlorien though this season? How sick would that be?
Ooh.
Like the beginning of it.
Yeah, like they go to Lorinad, like a land of music and gold.
I
And
could
it's
see
like
that
it's the
happening, and then
it's like the
Galadriel
Sylvan
and
elves.
Celeborn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
That's how they introduce him.
Yeah.
He's just like a straight tree hippie. He's like, hey man, I'm just out here.
Hey, babe.
Like
I've been here the
Celebrian.
whole
It's been like
time.
1,000 years.
Like Galadriel just walks up to him and just sucker punches him right in the throat. Just like, you
hate you.
dick. No, but that would be
It's so
interesting.
hard.
Though.
Like,
Well, and here's the other thing. I think this will kind of, because I feel like if they didn't do a time jump, I think the biggest thing would have been, we're gonna get Celebanner.
Banner, we still can.
yeah,
we still can.
Yeah.
Like, can we though? Not if he's
I mean,
20,
okay,
not in
so-
20
Well, like,
years.
During the battle of between the elves and Sauron, that's when Sauron uses Celebrimbor.
Yeah. And also,
Oh, is it
they've
really?
done flashbacks.
Yeah.
They've done flashbacks at the start of every season. They could have a flashback of like the beginning of the
Oh,
war,
that's true.
and then like have him prosthetic,
He-
Charles Edwards.
That was like my thought process. Like
Yeah.
the last season ended with Celebrimbor. This season it's gonna start with Celebrimbor, like in just a
Yeah.
flashback, and we're all gonna
yeah, yeah.
There we
That's really depressing.
But
Oh
that's
my
how
god.
it is. That's
Be
how it is. And
gory.
they said it was gonna happen too. So
Do you think this season overall is just going to be like a more darker tone, especially with
Yes.
like the list
It
of
has to be.
directors and stuff like that? Yeah.
I think Glorfindel showing up will be really like happy-go-lucky, and I think Rivendell will become like a huge beacon. But like the whole point of the War of the Elves is like Eriador. If I hold my hand up, this is like the Misty Mountains and like the side with the Shire, and Rivendell is Eriador. That all gets taken over almost all the way to the coast by
Yeah.
Sauron and his forces. He doesn't just like fight the elves; he wins fairly, and it's only because the Numenorians show up that they even survive. And after like, they still have like Lindon and they still have Rivendell, but like think about it, Eregion was a huge place gone, and like they've
Yeah.
taken huge blows over the time. So it's going to be a lot of like the recovery there. One of the things I'd love to see though is a relationship between Elendil and Gil-galad get established, which would be super
Yes.
Yeah.
dope,
Yeah, because they end up being a big part of how the story ends as well. And And their relationship really kind of puts the hey art like it sets up the relationship between men and elves in the third age a lot. It's that kind of relationship to begin with. That's what brings it really together.
It'd be cool if they like battled Sauron together in season 3, and then like they like something happens and they don't finish it, and then like they culminates in the final season. It would be cool if there was like an established like beef between the 3 of them, where it's like like maybe Sauron came out and like they defeated him the first time, and he was able to escape, and then like he comes back at the end.
He's
I would love that.
I'm gonna murder you guys.
I'm gonna get you guys with this. You and your Elrond too, like.
That's hilarious. No, but like here's the thing, because we know that Barad-dûr takes a massive amount of time to build.
Yeah.
Do we think obviously it's probably going to look different than obviously the PJ version, right?
It might
correct.
Not.
Like
it might not.
Really? Like how does that work rights wise though?
John Howe is the art director on Rings of Power. And John Howe and Alan Lee's artwork was like the most influential on Peter Jackson's work. For example, like Alan Lee's Orthanc is now Orthanc. That's what it is. So,
yeah. Like I don't think it's going to obviously be an exact copy because it's in the construction part of it.
Yeah,
I think even the construction is going to allude to Peter Jackson's.
Yeah, I think they're going to have some type of cohesion. Like, it may not be exact, but like, so that you kind of get that feeling that this is what they're doing.
It's going to be the same, actually.
Is it really?
I'm going to looking at John Howe's Barad-dûr. That's the one they used in the movies. I thought it was Alan Lee or something. No, it was John Howe's. It's like, it looks sick. It's dope, but yeah.
Interesting. But it's like, well, they also did the same thing with Narsil though. Or Andúril.
Yeah. It's the same,
you know. Yeah, same story. Basically, they just changed. They just changed it from.
It's wrapped 9 times instead of 7.
No.
It's like light wrapping instead of dark wrapping. I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's in like gold wrapping instead of black wrapping. But no, I think there's a lot of good story beats that I think are going to happen throughout the season. But obviously, it's going to be in a darker tone. We're obviously going to see more Charlie Vickers as Sauron. Hopefully, what are some of the things that you want to see this season? Like if you get it, like you'll be through the moon.
Nazgul.
Okay,
and it's not too early to have Nazgul, right? Because he's given out the 9. He's given out the 9.
No, he hasn't given out the 9. That's the thing that's going to
only the dwarves and the elves have the rings right now.
But he has the 9 on him, and it's like that's what I wonder, is the flashback going to be like this flashback of Sauron and like all his machinations, and then like leading up to the war where he like gives the 9 out, and like those are his like who's fighting this war with him too. I don't know. It'd be cool to think about, I suppose.
Because they wouldn't be the way they look wraith wise, would they?
No,
not yet. No.
No,
but like,
it takes them quite a while to fade. So
yeah. So could it be something like an early, like episode 1 or 2, where he's giving the rings to the men, and then towards the season finale, you start to basically see that these men are slowly turning into the Nazgul?
Well, that's the flashback could be like, oh, we handed these rings out, and then it like fast forwards to the time jump, and like the rings are already impacting them, you know, and like we see them like over the season turn into Nazgul. It would be cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, because we're season 3 and it's already been confirmed that it's going to be him creating the ring. Are we gonna get like a steady build up to that, and then the finale will be him creating the ring? Or do you think that they're gonna just be like, hey, he created the ring?
Someone said something really interesting to me. I was talking to my friend Dave. He's a City Millennial, and he's like really awesome with the analyzation of like these different TV shows. And he brought up the point that it could be that Sauron is losing and needs the One Ring to win. So like it's like out of necessity he makes it. I thought it was a really intriguing way considering how they've set him up as a character, especially in season 2. Like he did have like almost a desperation to it, than like this need to control. And it might like push him losing and like seeing that he's losing really, or losing control, say over the 9, or like something like that to really create the One Ring.
That's an interesting thought.
It's an interesting thought.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really good.
It would fit kind of lore wise, wouldn't it?
I mean,
somewhat.
I wouldn't
No.
say like a desperation of losing type of way. I think it's more of a lore wise, it's more of a he needs to be in constant control type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because lore wise, it's more of an OCD type of control type of way. But in the show, they're kind of portraying him as a desperate. He doesn't want to lose.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
because the 3 rings are made, and like the other rings are made, and they're all meant for the elves to start off with. So when he creates the 1, they know immediately that something's wrong and that he's trying to like exert his will over them. So they take the rings off, and he gets incredibly pissed because he feels betrayed by them, and that's what causes him to sack Eregion in the first place and like be like, "Those are my rings. I taught you how to make them. This is my craft. I'm the one who knows how to do this. You shouldn't have even made the other 3 elven rings." So it's a different like attitude, I feel. Well, in the show, I feel like it's a little different of approach where he's like more of a menacingly in the background trying to like coerce Celebrimbor, and like it tying into those ties of like evil can't create, it can only like, influence and like, bastardize pretty much. So maybe that's like what I see them continuing on with that theme a little bit more. And I like that theme a lot. It's one of my favorite themes in like the Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings. Like the will of the creator too being poured into something. So see.
Kai, what's something that you want to see, that you think will happen or will like to see in this season?
Oh God, I don't know. It's small, but I really kind of hope that one, we get Celebrian and we at least get Elrond and Celebrian meeting, or
Really
him
awesome.
seeing her, and then start the whole yearning process. But it's a tiny little thing, but I really hope we see it, and I'm really curious to see if we're going to see the closing of Khazad-dûm this season, or if they're going to wait for next season to do that.
Yeah, because I feel like there's always been something that has happened, like the penultimate episode or the finale has left us with something in ruin.
Yeah.
Season 1 was the beginning of Mordor. This last season was Eregion. What's next? Because if Pete's right, the way I originally thought it would go would be Mordor, Eregion, the closing of Khazad-dûm would be this season, and then the fall of Numenor would be the next, and then obviously we get it's 5 seasons, right? Or is it 6?
Yeah.
Five.
Supposed to be
5. Okay, so the 5th season would be the Last Alliance, the leading up to the Last Alliance. That's what we would get. I think that's making more sense now, because if you had Numenor fall before Khazad-dûm, it kind of feels weird. Because I feel like if you're not going to put because I do agree, because we have to spend a ton of time in Numenor before it falls. Like, we have to get that story. We have to, because they're already, like, in the first 2 seasons have already put those story beats in there. So I think Khazad-dûm is probably closer to closing this season than season 4, I would say, because
Now, do you mean like closing their doors to everyone, or like
yeah,
ruin?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
I can see that
yeah.
being the case. Like something happens. Didn't they say, what did they say at the end of the last season? Something about Durin's brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Durin's brother is coming in, and there's going to be a power struggle for the throne, obviously. So maybe that's something that the dwarves are too busy messing around with their own shit.
What are they going to try to do with that? Because, like, is no one going to believe that there's a Balrog under them?
Yeah.
Or is Durin not going to end up being king? Like, is his brother going to end up being king? Are they both named Durin? Is everyone named Durin?
Yeah.
Am I named Durin?
Durin's everywhere.
It's
you're crazy.
Pete, the way you said that was Who is Gamora? Why is Gamora?
it's
Better yet,
uh,
how is Gamora?
but I feel like that sometimes because I'm like, because they know that there's so many questions that people are asking, like, how is there a Jordan alive when there's a Jordan alive? Like, can you explain this to me? And it's just like nothing. And I've asked everyone about it. I'm like, do you know anything? You've spoken to the creators? No, nothing. It took us like 3 years to figure out a river that was being discussed. Like, it's terrible.
Welcome to the Tolkien community where we argue about how long a river was.
It wasn't even that. It was the river. It was the one where like Adar was talking about it. You know, Adar and like
and Balerion.
Yeah, do better, right? Yeah, like we were talking to the creators, and we were like, "Yo, you have to tell us this. You have to finally tell us this." And they're like, "Yeah, bro, it's just that." And we were like, "Wait, really?" They're like, "Yeah, bro, like, that's all. It's just that river and Balerion." And I'm like, and I'm not gonna say which one, but I'm like, because if you know, you know. It's all. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. It's like,
I just love the fact that they were just like, yeah, that's it, and then it's like, come to find out, it's not.
yeah, they're gonna just trick us later. I don't even trust what they say. I don't trust what anyone says about the show because I think back to our initial and Kai, I don't even know if you're like making content. We were like started talking about Rings of Power for the first time, and like there was so much speculation when no one knew that Halbrand was Sauron. That was a wild, man. Because like I knew it was, like all of us knew, but then there was like a group that was like, no.
That was me. I was part of the Sauron's not Halbrand, and then that second to last episode happened, and I was like, God damn it!
When he
broke
that dude's arm, I was like, that's Sauron.
When they got to Numenor, I was thinking to myself, there's no way this guy's Sauron. I knew when he looked at that forge, I was like, God damn it. Yeah, I am wrong.
And then he's
I had
in the
to
jail
change my
cell.
name.
Yeah, dude. That was great. It was so funny. It was really funny. So I'm like, I don't even know what to expect sometimes with these seasons. And even at the end of season 1 with season 2, we had all this crazy goddamn ideas. And once again, they came up with Celebrian and Celeborn showing up in some way. And we're like, he's in Eregion, dude. He's there. Gotta be there. Nope.
and then that all went to shit.
We're Danny. That's Celebrian. We know it. Like, it's so funny.
We were all hoping so hard.
It was so like spot on. She looked just like Galadriel. I was like,
oh my god, yeah, especially when we were going through it in season 2, we're like, all right, they haven't said her name yet. Is that her? And then she gets pushed off a thing and dies, and it's like, yeah, that's not her.
That was the most messed up stuff I've ever seen.
That was so crazy.
So messed up.
Like Sauron was like, yeah, hey, Celebrimbor, kill one of your pupils. Like, that is some crazy shit. That was wild.
Imagine being the guard though and seeing that, you're like, Celebrimbor.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Like you're just trying to fight off the orcs, and like all of a sudden, like your ruler comes out of nowhere and is hysteria. Like
now, keep in mind, you just saw this dude up there enjoying his Folgers, right?
No, not the fact that he is just sitting there drinking stuff while everything around him is crumbling. That's the best part. It's like
it's so crazy.
Like that's so funny. Like we should have gotten like a view of like the citizens like looking up and just seeing Celebrimbor being like
what a
wonderful morning.
And he's like covered in blood. He's like messed up looking, and he's so happy. And they're like,
just waving.
Did you not see the rock? It's your tower.
Like they're just all calling up to him, and he's just sitting there like, "Oh, what a pretty bird!"
Right? Yeah.
So, guys, you notice that mouse always comes around 5 o'clock.
That silly little boy.
That something's off about. No, sir, you're good. You're just seeing things. Oh man.
So one thing I noticed, and I'm sure everyone else did, but like each season ends with something. Like something falling and one thing rising from that. Like we got the Southlands falling and Mordor rising from that, and then when you got Eregion falling and Rivendell rising from that. Do you think that's something they're going to continue thematically through the seasons, where each finale you will see something fall? Like maybe next season it's Numenor or it's Khazad-dûm. What takes its place if they continue that theme of like when one thing falls, another rises?
Well, the easy one for Numenor is Arnor and Gondor.
Which I would be like very angry about if they get established early. I'll be like angry. Like no, because they're known as the realm in exile. The realms in exile, because these are the Numenorians in exile who left the island because they chose to. They're the faithful, etc. How the story goes. So it'd be weird if they were just like, we're here. I think. It's like I think it'd be cool to see like an establishment. Yeah, like I think it'd be cool to see establishment of the faithful versus like the Kingsmen, and like seeing those like different colonization periods happening in Middle Earth, or like I said, like Lothlorien, or at least like Galadriel going to Lothlorien and like establishing something there, because at the time she would not be a lord or a lady, or Celeborn wouldn't be a lord, she wouldn't be a lady. It would be Amdir, the father of Amroth, who would be king at this time. So, or hear me out, since we've already introduced it, there is the Greenwood with Orfer and Thranduil, the woodland like king. So there's also that place too.
Bro, that
There is that.
Yeah, there's still Gandalf, and
but like here's the I think this, it's gonna be tough, Pete, because they have so little like
they had Tom Bombadil last season doing like nothing.
they're literally they're moving your timeline up so quickly that I would love for us to spend a whole season seeing how Isildur and Anarion are going to set up Minas Arnor and Minas Ithil.
Yeah.
Which eventually become Minas Morgul and Minas Tirith. Which is funny because then I was looking at Beleriand and I was like, wait, that's not right. And then I was like, wait, Tolkien likes to use things twice.
So because it's Tower of the Guard, and you're thinking of Minas Tirith off the Sirion, like the tower that becomes Thorin Gaudoth, the Isle of Werewolves,
where Finrod dies.
Yeah, Finrod Felly falls, and well, it's really Ordreth's fault. Everyone just blame Ordreth. He's a bum. He couldn't hold the tower. Whatever. But then again, like Finrod, why are you building a tower there in the first place? Right up the way is Ithel Cidion. You could have fortified that, the joint where like Fingon was chilling and stuff. That place is way sicker apparently, but you made this like dinky tower here. It's like, come on, dude. I was super disappointed. I know a lot of people talk love for Finrod. I was like, Finrod, you and your family be making bad architectural choices. I'm tired. We're not acknowledging it. All right, I was just saying.
Okay, another question: Does Tommy B make another?
Sorry.
Does Tommy B come back for season 3?
No.
No.
Nah.
No,
I hope not. I will say I'm like the biggest Tommy B hater like out there. I didn't think that was possible, but it is. And they got me to like him. Don't ruin it by bringing him back. Like the small amount that we got, I think is good enough.
What if they like reinvent him a little bit? Like he's doing DMT and he starts a podcast and he promotes his new crypto bomb coin.
Tom the bomb coin.
Yeah. Like just give him a new edgy, like everything's got to be darker this season. Just like turn him into Joe Rogan.
We've ignored something. We haven't talked about hobbits at all.
That is true.
You think they're gonna leave that shit behind? You're crazy.
No,
we'll never abandon it.
We'll get more of Poppy.
See, that's what I was thinking of when y'all brought up the ends of the season, like something rising and something falling. In my head, I'm like, watch them fucking do the whole fall of like the whole fall of Khazad-dûm and then the rise of the fucking Shire. I think like I will set my TV on fire if they do that.
You know what? If they establish it where it's east of the Brandywine, that would be somewhat correct. because here's the thing: hobbits move over the Misty Mountain, and they go back over because of the events of Sauron, and they actually establish themselves the stores by the Anduin and the Follow Hides too, until they come back again later on with Marcho and Blanco Follow Hide. They cross over, but they establish
Are
themselves.
these made up names? I'm sorry.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, dude. But you know what's crazy? Like, Kaya knows I'm right. Kaya knows I'm right. She knows Marshall and Blanco. She knows exactly what I'm talking about
I can
because
just
It was Harpo in there.
This is just like Spanish.
what's up, bro? Marshall Blanco. But that doesn't happen until the Third Age, where like
Jose and Ray show up.
Jesus Baggins finally comes through. Baggins.
Why can't nobody be named Chris? Come on.
I ask myself that all the time. Like, it's like naming people Fredegar. Like I told you, Mungo. Mungo is someone's name. Mungo is Bungo.
Bungo's in Blazing Saddles. This is not
Bungo,
real.
Where do you think he probably got? Bungo is Bilbo Baggins' dad. And his dad is Mungo. All right. And his dad is like Frosco or something. So yeah, dude, I'm not even messing with you because I actually looked this up because I had to figure out how Frodo and obviously Bilbo are related. It's because of Maribella Took being related to Belladonna Took. Maribella Took is like the mother or some shit of like Primula Took, who is the mother of Frodo Baggins.
All right,
and they're also related.
I love how all the female hobbits have these really pretty names, and then this
they're just like bums. They're just like the trolliest names ever, and they're like you can only imagine them as being like these fat jolly people who just eat all the time. That's all I picture in my head.
Are you tell
this beautiful baby girl, naming her something like Primula, and then
she's like Primula, I want you to meet Bungo.
Like Rory Brandon Variety Bucks, like, hey, Drogo, I want you to meet my sister. She's really cool, dude. Like, check this out. And she's like, oh, wow, you're going to meet your friend. What's his name? Drogo. You're like, what? What did you say his name was? Drogo.
You're saying it a little intensely, Drogo.
Drogo. So is it like Bilbo comes from a proud line of Ungos and they were just disappointed in him and like, no, you're not an Ungo, you're a Bilbo.
The first Baggins is named Ballad Baggins or something like that. So like, I mean, the BB sticks in like Bilbo Baggins. He's right in there with the family, fitting right in.
We have a Chungo.
Jungo Bungo.
Chungo Bungo Baggins.
Tobold Hornblower? Tobold Hornblower, bro. Like, come on. What kind of name is that?
Who's married to Esmeraldina? Like,
maybe. I don't know. You might be right.
Oh my god. No. Oh my god. My stomach hurts. Oh, I was laughing way too much.
Thanks for coming to Hobbits 101, Hobbit History 101.
Oh my god, welcome back to Pod One's podcast where we go through every single name of the Hobbit. Oh my god. No, I mean that would make a little bit of sense because I feel like even last season, first season I thought I wasn't a big fan of the Hobbit story. And then this season, I think the thing that annoyed me with the first season of The Hobbits was everybody, like me included, we were all focused on who the stranger was. And it's like, just get it. Just say it. Get it over with. Make it more interesting. And now that now that we know who he is, finally, it's like, all right, let's get this going because eventually, like Pete said, they do make it over the Misty Mountains.
I liked the Harfoots in season 1. Like I agree with you that like the get to the point of Gandalf was definitely like an issue with that storyline, but I do think like the messaging, just kind of the like the othering they had for the stranger and how the Harfoots kind of overcame that, and the growth that they had, and then finally the separation that led into season 2. Like I liked the storyline of the Harfoots in season 1, and I liked where that continued without the group in season 2. So like I'm very excited to see more of the Harfoots and the stores, and see how they will eventually kind of converge or
they're gonna just-
coalesce into the hobbits.
Yeah,
They're just
I
gonna do the
think.
follow hides now,
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they all kind of accept each other because, like, the way you said that how they othered the stranger. I mean, that's still a thing that hobbits do in the Third Age that we see. I mean, if you read the book, you'll see that like they even other each other because they'll be talking shit in Hobbiton about the people down in Buckleberry.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, there's some queer people down there.
They're haters. They're just
Us
gossiping
hobbits
haters.
don't like them queers.
They don't like rumors either. Like someone's talking about walking trees. You're like, your cousin's pal is bugging, Samwise. Chill out, dude. The only dragon I believe in is here, and it's green. He's like,
no. It's like you've had too much. The what is it called? The
long bottom leaf.
Long bottom leaf. I just love how like in PJ's Fellowship, like Saruman says that as a dig to Gandalf, and I'm like, bro, have you never had it? Like,
well, Frodo even does it to Bilbo. He's just like, have you been into the Gaffer's like homebrew? Like, what are you talking about right now?
Or like Radagast taking a puff. He's like, this will help you out, clear your head.
No, no, but getting that established would be kind of interesting to see. I mean, they're gonna start filming this season this spring, so like here in the next couple of months. It wouldn't surprise me if it started filming like end of next month, beginning of April.
They're probably already in pre-production. Like,
yeah.
I'm assuming it's written and probably getting some final edits at this point right now.
I mean, if they're still casting, then
yeah, because they like we said, there were still some casting things that were out there, but I think this season has a lot of potential. I think if they keep building and keep taking suggestions from you guys, like not even like being involved, just like getting suggestions and stuff like that, because I know some creators they were shown things and then they were able to do things and talk to the creators. Like that makes a difference. Like that's something that I think this franchise does so well that other franchises could learn to do.
They do really listen. But here's the thing: they listen and then they do wily shit on the side. Like, you think we've forgotten about Elrond and Galadriel? We haven't forgotten. We won't forget.
Smoochy.
We're not mad. We're not mad.
Smoochy.
We're not mad. We're just a little disappointed.
Some people are pissed.
Are there any characters you're like hoping to see in the next season?
I mean, Sauron, obviously.
Let me like new, like not necessarily like characters that haven't maybe been touched on yet. Like we haven't seen in the Rings of Power.
Glorfindel, but he's been confirmed to come too. Glorfindel. So
has he
I
been
don't know if it's
confirmed
this
to come
season.
this season?
No, they just were at when we were at Comic-Con.
And they were just like,
confirmed it
okay,
on
you'll
there.
see him
Yeah.
by the end of this series at least.
Yeah. So, but I don't see any other time he should come. Like he's not gonna come during the fall of Numenor. Like he hopped on a boat. Like he's like, hey, got a ride.
Listen, they were sending Galadriel to the Grey Havens, so we'll
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
My dude
because
wrote a
don't
meteor.
really do anything at this point.
because
My dude
they
wrote a
don't.
meteor.
He doesn't. Can you imagine just like Glorfindel, like just like surfboarding like a meteor?
Shows up on an eagle. He's like, yeah.
It'll just be like
Hey.
that Simpsons meme with like Grandpa Simpson walking in, whistling with his hat, puts it down, puts it back up, and walks back out.
Right out.
Yeah, Glorfindel finally getting to the Grey Havens. The Valar sending him straight back.
I think
Stop,
they'll-
bro. Stop.
I think they'll have an insane missed opportunity if they don't make at least one scene with Glorfindel and the sun hitting him and his hair just right with the wind.
Oh,
Like just do that for us.
yes, that would be
Please.
hilarious. No, but like,
ironically or unironically, it'll be hilarious.
oh, it'd be great. It'll be made into like millions of TikToks if that's still
Oh my
around.
God.
But anyway, lore wise, he doesn't show up in the Second Age, correct? Or does he? I can't remember if he does or not.
I
Comes
mean,
with Blue
he's
Wizards.
alive. Yeah.
So is he part of that fight against in the last lines of
He's like-
Elves and Men?
I would imagine so. He's probably there.
I mean, I don't think he's mentioned by name in the book,
No.
but I can't see why he wouldn't be there.
Let's put it this way:
Mhm.
like when the initial battle's happening, where Arvedui and them are like battling the Witch King, and like Aranil shows up. Glorfindel's there. He shows up as
Yeah.
well, and so like, and he's the one who says that. No, it's not him. Thinking of Malbeth. But like the prophecy is involved. He's like the one who like is there and like hears it or is involved in saying it. I can't remember where he says like he does say it. He's like, no man can kill the Witch King. That's what he's involved heavily in like the whole third age. So I don't see why he wouldn't be there the second age. I don't know.
Yeah, that's something that I could definitely see them kind of playing around with, especially if we're gonna see him before the show ends. That'd be interesting.
Lore-wise, and with the series taking potentially a darker turn, Shelob as a possibility.
I mean, I definitely think we'll see her at least again by the 5th season because she's there when they start building Cirith So she's there before Sauron starts building Barad-dûr. Because she's in Mordor before Sauron's even there.
Yeah.
Do we get Shadow of War sexy Shelob?
No, buddy.
You better believe
If
it.
they want to
They really want to win this fan base over. They need to absolutely put this in. No, this is a deal breaker.
Hey man, sexy Shelob. Everything I said about season 1, season 2.
You just get Sauron being like my little cat, it's real creepy.
You know what's so great about like fantasy fandoms is sexy Shelob. You do have to like emphasize which Shelob you're talking about because some people will say that PJ's Shelob is the Shelob.
Are you sure? Absolutely. What do you mean?
I'm really excited to see Anarion. Finally.
Yeah. Yes. Finally.
Finally. You know, we've been teasing his ass for 2.5 seasons.
I forgot because you brought up Anarion. But it would be really, really dope to see Andunier. It would be dope to see Andunier. Like,
remind me again who that is?
Andunier is the west coast of Numenor, where Elendil and the Lords of Andunier are from. Yeah, and it's it would be. It's like, damn. How do you like that describe? It's like supposed to be beautiful because it's been like, the elves have come from Valinor, and it's like they have an area there called Nisa Meldar, and it's like the land of scent and fragrance because they brought like all these like exotic fruits and flowers over. So it would be cool to see that area. Absolutely, it would be really cool to see that area.
How do you think they get there though? Like,
what was that?
How do you think they'd get there? They're like scene progression wise.
I mean, introducing an Ereon, you could have like Elendil go back there. Or
well,
like
he's already heading there at the end of the
like a
last
Isildur,
season.
and when he comes back, he goes to the west. There's a lot of opportunities, and it would be pretty nice. Real nice.
It'd be real nice. Get to see our boy Nyan. We've been missing him. He's gonna eventually meet his end. I hope they change that a little bit.
Nah, throw a rock at him.
Dude, come on. At least make it a boulder, or at least like a semi-big.
It's
rock.
probably a big rock. Okay, it's not like a pebble. It's probably a big.
Like
rock.
have a troll throw a rock.
Gets in his eye and he falls.
and then Isildur just takes the ring and goes, "I will never deal with a pebble again."
Right?
He has like a one-liner about a pebble in his shoe.
No. Oh, this has been
poor Isildur.
Conversation. Poor, here's the other thing. I think the character development of Isildur for movie fans specifically is very, very important because he's not demonized, but he's vilified. I feel like in the PJ movies when he really shouldn't be.
Thing is weird. The men are weak thing was always weird for me because it's like Elrond saying men are weak. Like, he knows men aren't weak. He'd be raising all those men. Like, if they're weak, it's his fault.
bro, you're a terrible foster father.
like Aragorn, that's why he has beef with him. He's like, you were terrible to me as a kid. Terrible. You treated your twin son so much better than me. Like, dude, I didn't want to be there.
Better than Elrohir and Elrond? I can't even remember. Elrond.
Shut up, Elrond. You're not my real dad.
Yeah.
He's like,
But
one of
it was
those
like cool
adoptive
that
parents
you.
that's more of it's a nature, not a nurture type of thing. He was born that way.
They wouldn't even tell him who he really was until he was like 21. They were like, your name's Estelle. And it's like, why does everyone call me Aragorn? Like, don't worry about that.
Shut up, kid. We'll tell you when you're older.
Yeah, it's like his mom's lying to him too. It's messed up, man.
Yeah. And
Could you imagine the
Aragorn?
trust issues you have after that?
Oh, jeez.
What's that?
Until you see Arwen, then those trust issues go
So
away.
what goes down is like 21. He finds out he's like Aragorn, son of Arathorn. He's like pumped, bro. He's like, oh, you're gonna be king, dude. And then he like Arwen comes back to Rivendell, and he's so pumped. He starts singing the song of his ancestors, the Leilithian. And then straight out of nowhere, Arwen Udamiel shows up, and he's like, "Oh, damn, bro!" And I'm sure he like looked at the paper.
He's like,
"What?
What?
What?
am I a wizard?
Is this my lucky day? Like I'm a king?" Luthien shows up.
Rubio?
Did
That you?
great grandmother? Because he's technically related to Luthien, right? Through Baron, correct?
Through Elros. Through Elros.
Yes, through Elros.
Brother of Elrond. But it's
They're
like how many times removed is
62
it?
times removed.
Yeah, like it's a little removed, you know.
Yeah, well, you know.
I just think it's so funny because, like, he falls in love and then he like fucks off for a couple of years.
The best is
He's
Elrond.
just like, let me leave to make sure it's real and that I actually feel this girl.
Pretty much, and like also Elrond is like later on, they meet up again in Lothlorien after like Aragorn does his shit as Thorongil in Gondor. And he actually meets like Ecthelion, like Denethor's father. He does wild shit, crazy guy. He goes back to Lothlorien and he sees Arwen again. He's like, oh shit, this shit's real.
And she just last time I saw her.
He goes back to Elrond and goes, "You were right,
Shit's
Pops.
real.
You were right.
Real. I'll take it, man. You were a shitty dad, but thanks so much."
Like, turns out that throne for Arnor is worth it.
but that's what happens. Like, so it's 20 years later where he sees her in Lothlorien. So it's like, it's not a short amount of time or some shit. But then later on, like when he's about to go on like the whole initial quest and like, not even that, I think it's like even a little before that, before like the Council of Elrond. Elrond pulls him to the side. He's like, yo, my dude. He's like, hey, man. He's like, I'm going to be real with you. Yo, I got like, my daughter deserves a king. And if you don't reunite these realms, forget about it. He's like, are you for real? He's like, I'm for real.
He goes, don't even think about touching my little
Seriously.
girl.
He's like, he says that
Dare.
Arwen only is worthy of a king. And like he says that.
They have
He's
a
like,
shotgun that he can cock.
I don't know, like, I don't know, dude. He's that guy. He's like, you don't even think about it. Oh, everyone's like, Aragorn's so ready to be king. He wants to be king. He's gonna do it. He's gonna be king. It's the return of the king. He's like, nah, man. It's for my lady. Like, it's nothing else.
Little did anyone know that Arwen was the true prize to his motivation. Which, man, I do not blame him.
It was never for Frodo. It was
no, hell no. It was yeah. You just clip it and he said, and it's like for Arwen. How much different would that like throw?
Everyone just gotta look around, really confused. Like, Gandalf be like, "What did you just say?
What did he just say? Did he just say that?" And then it's just like everyone just like, all right, whatever. We just charge. That's how this.
Like Alyssa Gimli are like, he wouldn't shut up about this. All right.
You couldn't imagine. We ran so many miles.
I mean, luckily in the book, like he's not like that. But like in the Return of the King and the Passing of the Great Company, like he gets like Rohirrim, his horse, and like the banner of like the Scepter of Illuminus and all that, and like it's Arwen. He's like so pumped. He's like, "Oh my god, guys! Yeah, I know what this is." He acts like that too. He's like, "I know what this is." He's like,
I know.
"Yes."
It's my girl. Give me a present.
Dude, he's always hyping her up. It's great.
Oh, dude, it like you couldn't find a better hype man. You couldn't find a better hype man.
I mean,
But-
very cool.
Aragorn, son of Arathorn, simp of Arwen.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Simp of
It's true.
Ottowan. So obviously, we think Lothlorien could be a possibility this season. We think the fall of Khazad-dûm could be possible.
Ceiling of Khazad-dûm, I think, is the
Ceiling of Khazad-dûm. I don't think we'll see the fall. I think everything that we saw that Balrog is them saying, we're gonna put a pin in that. We might not even touch that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Unless they bring in another dude in.
Yeah,
Just like speeding it up.
yeah, man.
It's
You
just
gotta
me.
bring in-
Just see me. I'm doing it. See right there.
But I think what's gonna end up happening, he's gonna create the One Ring. That's gonna be towards the end of. That's gonna be the penultimate, and then he's gonna get captured and he's gonna get taken to Numenor.
Is
And
the One
that's what's
Ring.
gonna start
Do you think the One Ring will be the season finale or the series finale?
season.
Season.
It'll be season.
Well, I think maybe either second to last episode because
The
I mean,
penultimate.
in my head, he has to have the ring before he gets captured and taken to Numenor. And I
Yes.
think that's where they're going to end it is him getting captured and taken to Numenor.
But he doesn't have the ring when he is in Numenor, though. Correct? That's lore.
No, he doesn't. He leaves that behind.
He doesn't. He
Does
leaves
he?
it behind. Yeah, but he does.
Yeah.
The only reason he does that is because he knows his plan. Like he knows what he's going to do in advance, obviously, and he needs the part of him that he created in the ring to keep him alive. But yeah, I think that could probably be because then you set up what will eventually be season 4 will be more Numenor centric, more Sauron, more manipulating, more doing all of that in Numenor, and then that happens, we get the time jump. 5 will be Last Alliance. That's how I think it'll end. And the closing of Khazad-dûm kind of cuts the dwarves off from the rest of the world, correct? They're not really too involved. There is like a garrison of dwarves that help the Last Alliance, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
You're right. It's of Durin's folk. They said that doors fought on Sauron's side too. Actually, I'm wondering if like they're gonna speed things up and like have a contingency of dwarves even go to the Lonely Mountain.
Ooh.
But there's like they really do. The problem is that I think about Gondor and I think about like Arnor and I think about every damn structure they have to build. Like they got to build Helm's Deep, they got to build Orthanc, they got to build Minas Tirith, Minas Ithil, Annuminus. You know, like then like Fornos still up there, Osgiliath, like the White Towers. You know, who's got time for this?
The sister
No one got
does.
time for this.
Come on, the sister's got time for it. Like I think her ultimate arc right now is so in season 2. Speaking of, I can never remember her name. What's her name?
Audien.
Audien. Her
Audien.
Audien. She obviously the first season she was like, oh Pharazôn. Now that she's seeing what's happening in this season, I think she's gonna turn. I think the turning point will be towards the end of season 4, and then they'll probably have another time jump if I had to guess, right, Pete? So that you can kind of explain everything being built.
I don't know. I think they have to. Like, you know, Kai, you know this too, is that like all these structures that exist in like this place, and like you have Amon Sul, for example, tower, Weathertop Tower. It's like, you know, they know that there's all these locations, and I personally just think they're gonna just drop other shit. They're not gonna explain like where Helm's Deep came from, and they're not gonna. They'll do like Amon Sul in the main places, like Minas Ithil, Minas Tirith. But I really hope, and the one thing I really hope is that they don't just cut Arnor out like they did in the movies. I really don't want them to do that because It'd be so lame. I'd be disappointed. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take care of in like 4 or 5. Yeah.
But like it's one of those things, like it's a lot to take care of, but I think you do have, if we stick to 5 seasons, like it's each episode's basically an hour long, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like that's, even if they stick to 8 episodes, like
That's 8
That's-
hours.
that's 24 hours of content coming up until the season finale. I think they can get through a lot.
Besides, you can do 80s montage, you know? Just hit them with the 80s montage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a bunch of people building Helm's Deep and Gondor.
They really were on a real push. Alendo really wanted enough to just be able to hold Sauron back, man. We got to have 18 different contingency plans.
It's like how it feels like sometimes. I don't know. It's like they're like, why did they build Orthanc? There's no explanation as to why. Like,
No.
no, like it got built.
And just in
What
case.
up? Like,
Yeah,
just in
they-
case.
The Numenorians are like, man, I feel like being fancy. Let's build a fucking tower.
Why did they build Helm's Deep?
Sauron's got a big tower. I'm gonna build a big tower.
Tower.
We're gonna build 2.
Ooh.
Make it 3.
Khazad-dûm what?
I like the Helm's Deep stuff. Is always one like made me curious, like what was going down there, and I really just don't think they're gonna give a fuck. They were like, yeah, mountain fortress. So I'm like, okay.
Well, do we have like an actual lore? Like the Numenorians did Orthanc, they did Weathertop,
Helm's Deep.
Helm's Deep. So when is that? It was that at the same time as that they were doing Orthanc, because they
Yeah,
are
like-
so close in symmetry to each other.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. And Cirith Ungol too is built by Isildur and them and the Numenorians. It's a Numenorian structure too.
Dude. They were really working overtime.
They do. They're like, I don't know what they were doing. They're like, what was Sauron doing this whole time? Like, they watching from his window. Like, can you guys keep it down out there, please? Like, it's very loud.
Hey, I'm trying to make new orcs. Get out of here.
I'm
Get
making out
off
with
my
sexy Shelob. Keep
lawn.
it down. Like, it's
God damn it, Shelob, you're not taking care of the goddamn varmint. It's just-
right.
all of a sudden, Charlie Vickers gets a southern voice for Sauron.
Why not? I prefer it.
I think
I'm excited for season 3. The
Yeah,
good and the bad from this show has been so much fun. Like, regardless, like we have laughed at so much stuff, and like we've enjoyed
my.
so much about this show. And like, man, reading those books for the first time, you're seeing stuff that you thought would never be on screen. Like the 2 Trees of Valinor, till this day, still bugs me out.
Ooh,
yeah.
that-
You know?
yeah.
And seeing like Morgoth's shadow over, I was like, I'm sitting there like the Silmarillion is my favorite book, the Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales. And like, you know, I love Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but I love the context drops there, those stories. And then you see this shit, I'm like, okay, right, sick.
Oh,
All right.
Like, definitely never thought that we'd ever see Anatar. Like that
Ooh,
reveal.
yeah.
Crazy.
Holy shit, that reveal.
It's crazy.
That was great.
That reveal will go down in like one of the top 3 moments of any television show I've ever watched, because I just with like the commitment and like the knowledge and like how much I love it, and then it just being what it is, I was like, holy fuck, bro.
Well, and the fact that it was all around pretty much well received.
Mhm.
Like there wasn't any like really bad things to say about Charlie Vickers as Sauron or Anatar. Like they did a great job of it, and I can't wait to see what he does. Well, on his own now, because he's not going to be really with.
he's not with Galadriel or
he's-
Celebrimbor. He's
yeah.
on his own.
He's going
with
to be
his
on his own, so it's going to be interesting to see
And
how
gonna be with
he.
Glug.
Oh
He got
Yeah,
no dead.
no, Gluck's dead,
No?
isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, he got
Oh, no.
stabbed.
Yeah.
Did he?
Sauron stabbed him.
Yeah,
after
he stabbed him.
after Galadriel falls off, Glug comes through and he says something about what are your orders, Lord Sauron, and he ganks him, like he
Yeah.
stabs him, and all the rest of the orcs are like, what?
Just
And then
for
he's
Glue.
like, I am the captain now. Like he pulls a
Look at me.
whole Captain
Look at me.
Phillips.
He gets on the boat.
I'm the orc
Boat.
now.
No,
I
man.
am the orc. Oh
died?
no, I can't wait to do more deep dives and get more things from this show because I feel like and also if it weren't for this show and TikTok, I wouldn't know either of you.
That's
Like-
true. That's true. I always
Like that's
appreciate that.
the amazing part is behind Star Wars. I'm very passionate about Tolkien, like not as passionate as these two below me. I like when I always joke. I always want to when I grow up. I want to be like Pete. I want to know as much as Pete.
No, you
Like I
don't.
do. Yeah,
You don't.
No, like Pete.
I want to be close to Chungo too.
I want to know about Chungo too. No, like myself, I really like the Second Age, but like I love people like Kaya and Bree and Miranda and Max all do these like awesome dives in Lord of the Rings, and like it's so much cooler because there's like a lot of a more emotional context and landscape to the Lord of the Rings than there are like the Second Age or like the Silmarillion. There are parts of the Silmarillion that are definitely emotional, but like in itself, it is a mythos story. It's being a mythic tale being told. Lord of the
It's
Rings
the
is very
Bible.
down to earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I could regurgitate all this information, blah 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 blah, the path of Oceanic, Thargelion, blah blah blah. But it's just like I enjoy hearing someone else's perspective, and not to mention they know so much more about that stuff than I do. So like, I don't know. It's been awesome being able to meet so many different people who appreciate so many different aspects, I guess is what I'm saying. So I really do appreciate the show for that, and TikTok and social media.
Yeah, it's been a fun little ride. I'm glad that we get to do it for another 6 years.
6 years, yeah, something like that.
I'm going to say 6 because it's going to take them 2 years. If it's the same as, which is kind of funny because they're a little bit behind production than it was with the second season.
Mhm.
Like it took them 6 months to shoot the whole season, which I feel like is insane for an
That is insane.
8 episodes, and like they did, and that was even like they finished right before the strike happened.
They
Like
did.
that's how
And
quick
also,
they did that.
Also, the other thing is that like, oh, I just blanked out something. Oh, we have the Peter Jackson like universe, Middle Earth universe stuff coming out too with the
Yeah.
Hunt for Gollum as well. So there's
They
a lot
still
of Tolkien stuff coming
They
out.
have 2 movies coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay. This will be the final thing. Convince me that I should be hyped for Hunt for Gollum.
Should always be hyped for anything Tolkien because like we have a new video game coming out this year. We have
The Hobbit one, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And like there's a bunch of stuff in the works now where it's like, War of the Rohirrim did mildly successful on streaming and maybe it didn't do as well as theaters as they wanted, but it's still like they have big plans now and know that there's an interest in Tolkien again. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited for it. Please don't play off nostalgia. That's all I ask of you. I beg thee. But
I think
I-
Peter Jackson being Peter Jackson, he will. So
I'm just
I would
why
say
this
be
story.
excited until you see what it is, because that
I
could just
agree.
be like the title for it. And it
Could be
a
something completely different.
story.
Yeah.
On Pete's Live earlier, I said that it could be like titled The Hunt for Gollum, but it could start off as Gandalf's monologue basically in Shadows of the Past. And it's
Yeah.
just an entire flashback.
Ooh.
that'd be really cool. That would give that opportunity for like Ian McKellen to come back and for Elijah Wood to come back. And they don't have to be like.
I really hope
Jeez.
Ian McKellen doesn't.
I
Like
really
Elijah
hope
Wood, I
they
could
do.
understand because he's still kind of got that baby face, but Ian McKellen, it's to the point where if you CGI his face, nobody is gonna shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be like Adar in the last episode, or second to last episode, where you're just looking at him and you're just like,
What's up with your
The angle,
face, bro?
the angle was a little. Oh, are we talking about when he has Nenya?
Well,
no,
at
like
the
when
end
he's
of
on the
the
battlefield
episode,
and he's about to
Oh.
pick up Elrond by the chest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
He's just like, you forgot your room yells, and
It's like
it's just CGI on his face. It's like, why are you doing that?
well, and I also think that I also think that it was also kind of the camera angle too, though, because it's kind of shooting up, and it was a weird shot. I thought
Maybe.
I might be misremembering
mean,
that.
Even then, it would still be like, it looks like there's a filter on his face.
Yeah,
Or like in The
Mm.
Hobbit, where they do CGI Ian McKellen's face, and you're looking at him, and it's just like that makes me uncomfortable. I don't.
And it's
know
like
what-
this weird like lighting thing going on. It creeps you
Yeah,
out.
and it
like
makes
and
his
Ian
eyes
Holmes
like a little
too.
bit more shiny, and it's like you could have just
you could
put
have
a little bit
done.
of concealer on him, and he would have been
Yeah.
fine.
And then like Ian
Yeah.
Holmes too looked really strange as Bilbo
Oh,
Baggins.
don't worry, we'll just get AI Ian Holmes from Ron Lewis again.
That's what I'm hoping. We already did it once. Let's do it again. Just bring him back
Yeah.
completely.
Well, I mean, it's like if you watch
Oh my
Rogue
God.
One, like look at Tarkin. Like everybody
that was-
complains about that.
was
Everybody
crazy
complains
looking.
about that, and it
Or
was
like-
wild at the time.
Leia too.
Yeah,
Shit's messed up looking. Or how about this one? The Mandalorian, Mark Hamill, like Luke Skywalker. That shit looked
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
to start off with.
yeah, and then they hired the guy that did the better job,
Yeah.
With
And they
that,
went back
which
and
is-
fixed it.
which is crazy.
Dude,
Like getting
talk
the
about-
opportunity. Oh my god.
Talk about a guy living his dreams. Because you can't see the original, like you could go on YouTube and find it, but the episode's changed. You go back
Yeah.
and watch it, it's fixed. I'm like, damn,
Mhm.
dude, like
Yeah,
shit.
they did a really good job. But
But
like,
fix that
here's
on
my-
his face.
like if they do Hunt for Gollum, can we not do it from Gollum's point of view? We've already gotten a shitty video game.
What do you got
Doing
against Andy
that.
Serkis?
Well,
Huh?
You don't like baby eating? What's your problem?
yeah.
Andy Serkis is an
Would
incredibly
you like
talented
drinking from a
individual.
baby like a Kool-Aid pouch?
I would rather get my boy Vigo back and give him a perspective of this whole thing.
I mean, how would you do that though, other than him sitting around the fire with his grandkids in like Minas
Well,
Tirith?
he was
Like,
hunting.
the
Well,
Del
he,
Jetty on.
about when I was a youngin.
well, he was involved with the Hunt for Gollum. Am I
He was.
mistaken on that?
It took him
Yeah.
8 years to find that.
But like, if you
little
bring
guy.
back Vigo, how are you going to do that? Because again, looking at
That's true.
Vigo, you'd have to CGI the fuck out of his face.
Yeah, he does not look like. What if they like just animated the whole thing? No, it's supposed to be live action, I think. Isn't
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, no, the way you could do it is like how you guys were talking about Ian McKellen kind of doing a monologue before.
yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be he's sitting there with shit, I can't remember his son's name.
it? Frodo,
No. Aragorn sitting with his son.
El
And he
Daddy.
tells him about yeah.
Bungo?
no, it's the King
No.
of Gondor.
Gondor,
Got
come on.
fancy names over there.
Yeah. We give some respect.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bungolian.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
No, but you-
Mongolomir.
You
Like
could-
what? They're having story time, and then there's a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
who would play young Aragorn?
Ooh, that's a good
Pete.
question.
What the hell is his name? The one that was
Charlie
really
Vickers.
cast
No,
as-
just kidding.
Peter
as
Townsend?
Aragorn. Yeah, that guy. Peter Townsend. Just cast him.
Yo, get the original actor who's supposed to play Aragorn. Get it back. We got
He's
him
apparently
now.
so popular.
Yeah, PJ's like, man,
Dude, I
that
still
Vigo,
think
that Vigo guy didn't kick that helmet very
so. I
well.
don't. On TikTok, like our friend Lee got into this argument with some dude about Peter Townsend being like the best actor ever, and like to me, my headcanon is that was Peter Townsend. That is himself
Had to
making
have been.
accounts to defend himself. Being like,
had
I'm
to
the
have
better
been.
actor.
I mean, who would go that hard for you except yourself?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I wish I had that confidence, to go in there and make fake
That's-
accounts, be like, Doma's the best lore content creator ever. Ever.
If you don't do
Oh,
it, Belmont,
man.
I will.
Right?
Got to make some AI like 5 reasons why Pete Belmont LOTR is the greatest LOTR content creator on
I know,
TikTok.
right?
I can
Or
already
it's like
see
those
it now.
OF like automatic DMs that you get from the accounts with like zero
Yes.
zero
Oh my
followers.
god.
Like
Like,
Have you heard about this account?
Belmont.
User 5923478299759 says,
I'll get monetized on TikTok if it's the last thing I do. Sorry, I'm just playing around.
Oh
All
man.
right. Well, I'm excited for season 3. I'm glad to hear
Oh.
everyone else is excited for season 3. I think that as much as I not a Tolkien person, I did enjoy season 1, but season 2 was it was better than season 1. It just the storytelling was better, the pacing was better, it was more engaging. it felt like the stakes were higher. So I really hope that they can kind of keep that trajectory. And if like, I know it's not the same people, but what Amazon did with The Expanse, after they bought it from Sci-Fi, they really did keep that upward trajectory with that show.
Yeah.
So it gives me faith that they will keep that upwards trajectory for Rings of Power. And so I'm excited.
I forgot Nick's reading the Silmarillion. I forgot he was doing that. Yeah.
Nick, if you ever want to like hop on a live to talk about it, I'm totally down. I love when like people. Read the
I
Silmarillion
completely
for the first
forgot that he was doing that.
Unfortunately, I can't read, so.
time. I listened to it on audiobook.
Dude,
like,
same. But like I try to. So like with Star Wars books now, like I have both, and that's how I consume that media now. I listen to the audiobook and read it at the same time, and I find myself enjoying it so much.
I have not tried that.
I do one or the other.
Yeah,
I do that to no
basic.
take.
I
Like
definitely have not.
and if I have a thought, I'll pull out my book and I'll just annotate it in the book.
Dude, don't be sad like restarting it 3 times.
Yeah.
Like I've read that book 5 times and I've yet to understand some things in it. There's still things that I catch that I'm like, oh wow, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. My first time reading through the Silmarillion, I didn't read through the entire thing. I did bits and pieces of it.
Which
So, like,
probably
I started
should
on
do.
Faramirian, and then I jumped around. And then after I was done reading everything, I was like, I'm going to read it the normal way.
you're actually supposed to read it like a manga, like back to forward. So you guys.
You start with the end of the third age and go back.
I mean, it would
first
make
time I read
sense.
it.
After reading Lord of the Rings, if you read the Akalabath.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I'm excited for season 3.
So am I.
It's what, another year and a half probably before it airs.
I guess,
I'd say springtime 2026, right?
Probably.
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 Yeah.
All
If
right.
we're all still
Maybe-
here.
Maybe we're lucky we'll get a trailer before that. Yeah, right. Think about it.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, it's exciting, and hopefully we get it in a decent amount of time. I do feel like with these huge shows, like there's no way
Pushing them out.
Yeah, it's just like this isn't the next generation. This isn't Xena Warrior Princess where you can kind of just churn episodes out, like 24 episodes for 45 minutes with little to no production value. So
This isn't Fast and the Furious.
yeah. Well, I do think it's very interesting, and it's interesting to see people talk about it online of like, oh, why do we go like 2 years between seasons? Like, have you seen the show? Like,
yeah. Have you
like
seen
the
House of
production
Dragon?
value is insane. Like these are movies being made. Like you're getting 8 movies.
They're working on 2 like fantasy shows at the same time. They have a Wheel of Time coming out soon.
Yeah.
They're alternating every year. They're like Wheel of Time, Rings of Power. Throw a little Expanse in there where was going on. Like what's the new sci-fi they show? They have like Silo, or is that Apple TV?
That's Apple TV.
There's another one I'm thinking of though.
Did they do 3 Body Problem?
Wasn't Fallout though?
Yeah,
they did Fallout.
Yep,
And they got
did
Invincible too. They're working on, and The Boys. Like, what is going on here? They're just like churning it out over there.
They really
Bezos
It's
money
also
really,
big,
really
too.
is
Bezos
it.
has been busy.
Throw as much money
Bezos.
as you can. It'll come out good.
He's writing, directing, acting, producing everything.
So the
It's
final-
not J.K. Simmons as Nolan.
So the final question I will ask: if after Rings of Power, do we think we will get this will be the starting point off for other spin-offs within the Amazon universe?
If the ratings are high
I hope
enough.
so.
I think
If
so.
the money's there,
Yeah. If they're like, we spent $1 billion on Rings of Power and we made $2 billion on Rings of Power, they will be like, yep.
I think
yeah.
after Rings of
more.
Power, they might try dipping their toes in like a Fellowship TV.
if they
show.
made The Hobbit, that'd be amazing. And did it
Ooh.
right, did it like really right. not that gobbledygook with the Fundin boys on this chariot at the end. Oh, God.
See, that's kind of what I was hinting at. Do we think that they would eventually get into the Lord of the Rings?
Oh yeah.
Like
They
going
would have to move
going
fast.
from
because because these characters are going to get old. Like the actors are going to get old. You know. How,
Well, see,
you
the
can
thing
only,
is
like,
that I
10
hope
years
that
from
if
now?
they were to do a Lord of the Rings like series, they recast it because I want to see Matt Berry as Tom Bombadil before I die.
Oh
I need to
my
at least
God.
see him
See,
in the hat and the coat and the boots.
My darling,
I need to see it.
that would be great.
That'd be really good.
I think it would be. I think it works as a more of a kind of like Star Wars. I think Lord of the Rings, great movies. I think you get more out of things, out of source material from books. If there's like multiple books, like TV series is the way to go because I feel like you get more time to spend with these characters.
Look at Shogun, one of the best
Yes.
like limited series I've seen, and it's one of my favorite books. And like there are only certain things that were changed that like were like okay, but they weren't bad changes, and I think that's really cool. And also think about Percy Jackson turned out to be a really good adaptation of the books, and it was like a fantastic show. So I agree with that. I definitely agree with that statement.
But yeah. Go ahead, Chase. You've been trying to get us to stop for the last 5 minutes.
No, you guys are fine. You guys are fine. Oh no, an eagle just hit the second tower.
Dude, oh my God.
Anyways, Pete, where can we find you on the internet?
You realize that there's only one tower, right?
There are 2 towers according to the name of the fucking movie.
I mean, according to the book, there's 6.
So, anyways,
Tolkien came out right,
me.
clearly.
You can find me at this name here, B1Mott_LOTR here on YouTube. And we're on YouTube now, and TikTok and Instagram and social media in general.
All right. Thank you, Kaya. Where can we find you on the internet? What are you working on?
Oh, I'm literally on everything. TikTok, Threads. I'm pretty hilarious on Threads. I'm on YouTube now.
Yes.
I started moving all my stuff onto YouTube. So that's
YouTube that is of the U. Love it.
I'm on Blue Sky. I'm still on Red Note. I'm still going hard on Red Note. The Chinese love Lord of the Rings, and I had no idea.
Really? I
Yeah.
no idea.
They
Still,
love
I like-
the Silmarillion over there.
I don't think I'll get Red Note just because I'm like, I don't need more social media. I'll figure it out.
Oh no, it'll cause a crash out and a burnout. Like I have had like 2 existential crises since TikTok has came back, and it's been rough. But I'm still here, so I'm chugging along.
Perfect.
Subscribe to my
Great.
YouTube.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube.
Absolutely. Luke, where can we find you all over the internet?
I don't know. A lot of places. Jedi Master Eggs on all social medias. Here on Thursday nights. On the pod ones with Chase and Harris. I think next Friday we're gonna do we're gonna figure out what game we're gonna play or pick a topic. And we're just gonna shoot the shit. We're gonna try to do like a hangout Friday. We'll pick a topic. We'll pick out ask people to come on and talk about stuff. But yeah, that'll be next Friday. So we'll see what the week is, like what happens news wise. Because hell, we could have gotten JJ and talked about the House of the Dragon news that dropped yesterday.
What news dropped?
They are going to they're going to start with the Gullet for season 3 of House of the Dragon. They're going to start with the Gullet. That's going to be the first episode. And then they are also doing something with the Targaryen line in a spin-off show. They're still doing Aegon's Conquest, but like it's all weird. It's all weird. But that might have to be a different episode because your boy's tired and work. But you can follow me on all those social medias at Jedi Master Eggs and at the Pod Ones.
Amazing. Thank you. And you can follow me at Forward to the Black on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and Blue Sky. But no, thank you guys for being here. This is great. Like I said, like I think all of us are super excited for season 3, and you know, as the next year and a half, 2 years goes, we're just going to see more and more coming from this, and there'll be more to talk about until we finally get to watch it together. So I'm very excited. But thanks again for you guys hanging out, talking about Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, talking about Tolkien and all the Chungo Mungo Bungos.
Strogo to you. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and we will see you.